Blessed afternoon, Prince folks. We're at home. I took the day off, went to the Indian hospital earlier, and just want to thank those of y'all that prayed for me. Sitting there and I was thinking, I got home and took my mother-in-law to breakfast at that new place over there. I highly suggest you go to the 580 Junction. That's a good joint. They got breakfast and they got lunch until 4 o'clock, I believe. Check them out. I came home and I was talking to my neighbor Felix. Now, usually, I would do Sarah Young's lesson or the Boatman's book, and I would make a video of it. But the Lord just touched me to want to touch on something else because my neighbor across the street, he tells me his wife is bipolar. And we were talking one day. I told him he knows as well that my wife's no longer on this earth where she crossed the stars to the kingdom of heaven, because I told him that. And talking about bipolar. And there's a difference in bipolar stuff. My Annie, when she left May 2nd, 2015, she left me for a drug head. We'll just say his name is G. Well, we'll just say his name is Gabe. I'll leave it at that. Well, anyways, Gabe was a man who could manipulate everybody that had a weak mind so that he could get meth. He would send people on missions to get meth. It's all about meth. That's why Annie left the marriage in the first place, because I'm not going to bow to meth. I bow before the Most High God. But before January 5th, 2008, I used to do meth with Annie. We used to partay. You bet. I was more of a drunk than anything, but I'd get down with meth, get down with meth. Well, anyways, so years went on, and as you well know, Annie, I fought for this marriage for 6 years. Annie came home in the 6th year, and she, because of the drinking of vodka, since she was a teenager, and with the mixture of meth, 5 years consistent on it, 6 years consistent, but in the 6 years she had to quit because her stomach goes out to here. She had congestive heart failure. That's the part these meth dealers don't tell you about that. We're not even talking fentanyl. We're talking about meth. Your life expectancy is 5. It is 5 years. That's how long you are expected to live. Annie lasted 6. But with the meth, with the vodka, when she left, she wasn't the same Annie. And I want to tell you that drugs, I believe, are make one bipolar. You don't believe me? Are you a drug addict? Look at your life, examine yourself, because I had to examine myself. You're not the same person. When I was drunk, I'd be a good man, a good-hearted man, like I am right now. When I got drunk, I could get violent. I would, man, I don't know how many times I have been drunk. So I look like that. I got these beautiful teeth and these beautiful scars all over my face, my mouth. And that's what I'm talking about. And it's a fact. Drugs, alcohol make you bipolar. And my friend across the street, Felix, he says his wife, she's bipolar, a different bipolar, a disorder, a mental disorder. So there is a difference, and that's what we was talking about. But I want you to know, if you want to be released from bipolar, from drugs, from alcohol, all you got to do is get down on your knees and pray. Get down on your knees and give your heart to the Lord. This is what I did January 5th, 2008. Lord, I don't want this no more. Give him, pour out your heart, whatever's bothering you, give it to him. And all those bridges that were burnt, they'll be mended. And if they're not mended, the people that you burn them with, they're going to stay away from you for good reason, because the demons in them are scared of the Jesus in you and me that set us free. For love suffers long and endures everything. Once upon a time, there was a man named Saul. Saul persecuted the Christians. He murdered the Christians. And then he became Paul. And he quit kicking against the gourds. And he quit being. Most of the New Testament is his writings, because that's how powerful Jesus was upon him. He was shipwrecked. He was stoned. They did everything they could, but Paul's time had not yet come, just like Jesus. But when it came without a shadow of a doubt. He made it home. What I am here to tell you, You still have breath in your body. You still got thoughts in your mind. But when you give your heart to the Lord, His ways are higher than your ways. They're higher than my ways. His thoughts are higher than your thoughts and my thoughts. So let His ways and let His thoughts be your thoughts and be your ways. And this drugs and alcohol will be slayed. Ain't no going to rehab. You don't need none of that. And from what I've been understanding, some of my Indian sisters are telling me the only reason that our Indian people are getting on rehab, some of them, not all of them, they're getting on there so they can go to California and go to these other places. They just try and get out of the town where they're at. Whether it's El Reno, whether it's in Darko, all these other places. Just so they can go and rip it in a different town. They'll put on an act of sobriety and then get high and drunk all over again in that place, get kicked out, but they're there at a new place. And then when they really rip it and they ain't got nothing else, well, they come back home. It's a repeat cycle. It's a full repeat of spool. It's just a dog returns to its vomit. I want to encourage you. Give your life to the Lord. You don't need rehab. What you need is a descendant of Rahab, which leads to Jesus, the Dakalokoshet, as Malanape people call Jesus Christ. He's the only way unto God the Father. And by His Holy Spirit, you'll be transferred, for your name will be written in the Lamb's Book of Life. And He saw this in the 6th year, and she returned home to the Most High God. December 23rd, 2021. Without a shadow of a doubt, I know where she is, and He gives me peace that surpasses all understanding. And you can have that too. And I pray that you're free, what you need to be free from. Work hard to become a leader, or be lazy and become a slave. It's time to quit being a slave, y'all. Be brave, be courageous, and be saved.